Okay, this is from section 5.2. It's number 26. We're going to work it through in a video because as people are absent or coming and going, it's a hard problem. I want to make sure we all know how to do it. So I have written down given. Line CP is the perpendicular bisector of segment AB. And we need to prove that CA is equal to CB. So this is all from the book, by the way. A plan for proof. They gave you some clues. Show that right triangles, triangle APC and triangle BPC are congruent. Then show that segment CA is congruent to segment CB. Next page, I'm going to draw the picture. Okay, first I'm going to draw the picture, so give me a second. Okay, let's talk through this proof, just like I would have if we were in class. We're going to start out with one of the givens, that line CP is the perpendicular bisector of segment AB. And that is, given. Okay. Step 2. If you remember the previous slide, I talked about the plan for the proof. The plan for the proof said show that the right triangles, triangle APC and BPC are congruent. Then show that segment CA is congruent to segment CB. So let's look at what our next step is. We can say that AP is equal to BP and the measure of angle APC is equal to the measure of angle BPC. Okay, and we know that because of the definition. Notice I'm saying just AP and BP are equal, and we say that measurements are equal and segments or pictures are congruent. So now we're just talking about the measurements. So the measurement of AP and BP are equal, and the measurement of the angles are equal. And that's all the definition of perpendicular bisector. But once we know the measurements are equal, we need to change those into the segments or the pictures being congruent, because congruency is how we prove things. So we need to change it into the pictures being congruent. So I'm just rewriting the step 2, into step 3, and that is the definition of congruence. Okay, so as a review, measurements are equal, segments or pictures are congruent. So we just made congruent statements. Okay, where can we go now? Okay, as a review, the plan said we need to prove that this triangle is congruent to this triangle. And we learned lots of ways to do that back in chapter 4. So we learned that when two triangles share a side, we need to mark them congruent. And let's go ahead and write that they're congruent. CP is congruent to CP, because when two things look in the mirror and see each other, it's their reflection. So it's the reflexive property of congruence. It's an awful congruence. A little bit better. Cool. Now we can actually say that triangle CPA is congruent to triangle CPB because of side angle side. Awesome. We're really done. Let's just wrap it up. CA segment CA is congruent to segment CB. What's that terminology we learned? CPCTC. Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And what we're actually trying to prove is that if the pictures are congruent, the measurements are equal. And that's really it. 7 steps, sort of stinky, but now it's easier. Good job.